Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. It was a time of war where one car alone could triumph. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's an unscripted video. It was supposed to be like a cinematic trailer thing. It's not going to work. Okay, the 32i Sport, the new car that I've got. I sold my beautiful new M140 in red that was as tight as a nun's pair of shoes. And in its place, I've got this beautiful, car, this 328i, but it is not as tight as a nun's pair of shoes. It's as loose and flappy as a wizard's sleeve. What the hell? Where am I going with this introduction? It's going all wrong. It's not loose, it's a tight suspension car, but it's got loads of faults, and that's why we're going to call this video the Money Pit version 2, and I'm going to show you the amount of things that I need to sort out on this car, and it is going to blow your mind. Cue intro. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Great to see you. We are now in the main body of the video. Here is the 328i Sport. I think there's about 500 of these left in the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what's cool about this is it's a hardtop coupe, not a convertible, and there's no sunroof, and really importantly, it's manual, and it's been in the UK with all its owners. You do not want these cars to have gone over to Ireland or anything like that, because they get drifted. They're about 5 years ago, they are the weapon of choice because they were one of the cheapest rear-wheel drives that you could just go and get, and that were quite solid, so very popular with drifters. And a lot of these cars, not just Ireland, but in the UK as well, a lot of guys buy them to just tear them up, which is fun. But you don't want to buy one that's been torn up. So you need to be careful, and you want to look for signs that it hasn't been abused. And this one, as far as I know, hasn't. Okay, it's in pretty good nick. You wouldn't set it up like this if you were going to drift it anyway. So let's go through all of the things that we need to look at, or all of the problems, because it's an old car. It's a good example, but there is a list of long as your arm, and when I go through them, I'm going to ask for your help on certain things. Let's start with the interior. Okay guys, so problem number one is the paint is coming off the seats. You can see it all here, and we have a hole there, so we're going to need to patch under that hole and glue all this back down on top of the patch, then resin it over, get it flat, and then recolor it. I say we, I will be in contact with my good friend Ram and see if he's up for doing it. I can't take the mick, but hopefully make a good video for him, good video for me, good video for you. And it's, well, the last one was a good video. I think there's a lot of interest in restoring leather seats, and I'd like to have a go at this, but I know if I let Ram do it, and if he's up for it, he can do a much better job than me. So we'll see. Anyway, something will happen. We have to sort it one way or the other. So that's the seat. And then you've got the center console, which is a different color. It's not just dirt, that's actually a different shade. If you look at the door cards, you can see the two colors, yeah? But that's all cracked. And that needs sort of cleaning and then filling and then recoloring. So that's our first problem. We've got this leather issue and the bolster hole and all that. Second issue with the leather is that this car, someone stored tyres in it. The tyres of the zonant, or the anti-ozonant, sorry, has seeped out of the tyres, the brown stuff, and stained the leather and some of the trim. And some of the trim there, where one was vertical, one had been stored in here, I think, and stained that bit, which is really, that's a shame, because the back leather would have just benefited from being cleaned, and now it needs to be recoloured. and unless I can get that out. But I've got a feeling I'm going to fail miserably. We will try though, we will try. I've just got a few ideas. So that's our second fault, guys. Let me know on any of these things as well if you've got any thoughts on the best way to proceed with getting them sorted. That's part of this video as well, so chirp in. Tyre stain, we've done that. Next thing, guys, gear knob. Okay, so you can get cheap second-hand, oh, it's hot, cheap second-hand gear knobs that are about £10 that look very similar to the OEM one. What they do is they say, you know, BMW 32i original M Sport 5-speed gear knob. They put original leather though, so people that search for the word original just buy it. They're getting so sneaky, the people that make these fakes. They're not original. I would imagine it's going to be at least 60 or 70 quid from BMW. In fact, I think it's 2 parts, a little plate which sticks on top for the 5-speed or 6-speed, and then the gear knob itself. Correct me if I'm wrong. Unless it's radically cheaper, I'd like to buy it off my dealership, because I like my dealership and I'd rather give them the business, unless it's going to cost me an absolute fortune, you know, which I'll get it from somewhere else. So tell me if there's anywhere good to buy an original one other than the main dealer. But like I say, I want to buy it from the main dealer. Right, mats. These are cheap. You can't see because it's all dark, isn't it? The GoPro's not going to do it. But the underside of these has got a cheap, coarse plastic which is disintegrating already and putting bits on it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get OEM beige mats. Correct me if I'm wrong, unless I go hunting around breakers and stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to be able to get new ones. I think I can get new black ones for this car, the BMW 328i Sport, M Sport ones, or whatever they are. Tell me the right ones to use. So I'm thinking it's probably best to go with the black ones if they're original, unless you know of any really good aftermarket ones that are very close to OEM, really well made. Let me know about that. They've got to be really good though. You know what I'm like. Okay. Next one, big one. We've got to do this very soon because this is driving me mad. Look at that headlining. Look at that. It's like a giant tent. I'm going to take the headlining out of the car. No problem doing that. And I'm going to try and stick it back down as a temporary fix. I'm going to try. I've got nothing to lose. I've got nothing to lose. If that doesn't work, I will do it properly. Okay, so we'll see what happens with this. We'll do some videos dedicated to that. That's a major pain and a very common problem and a nightmare. Passenger door actuator. That door there. Oh, has that started opening again? It doesn't go up and down when I pop it. Look. So I'm assuming the window works. I'm assuming it's the door actuator. That's what it was on the my 330 Club Sport. Exactly the same problem. No, yeah. That won't lock or unlock. So is that an actuator or is that something else? Let me know what that is. And I'll fix that myself. That'll be quite easy, won't it? Stripping down door cards, no problem. It's the engines I can't do. Right, so that's one thing. I was hoping the alarm was going to go off then, or hoping it wasn't. Next, seatbelt buttons. Want those to go back red. Going to try and pack them full of something oily. Clean them off first because there's some dirt on this one. And then pack them. I know people are going to say heat them up with a heat gun. I don't know. Well, I'll sort that out myself. We'll see about that. We should be able to get that a lot better. Next thing. Okay, driver's door glass seal. This seal here, it just comes up. You see? So I'm going to take that door card off. I can see some sticky stuff. I come round here. Someone's been messing around in here trying to stick this seal down, I think. So I need to take the card off, find out what's going on, and get that. Let me know if there's anything I need, what tools for the job I need, all that sort of stuff. Because someone will have had the same problem, no doubt. Stereo, the Stezza. You guys very kindly gave me a heads up. So it's got a silver stereo in it with this, you know, stupid graphical display, which 20 years ago would have looked amazing. Now it looks terrible. So what I want is a stereo that has the same orange kind of lighting, LED style lighting and lettering and buttons that fit with the car, and a couple of you guys, in fact about 5 or 6 of you, recommended a Blaupunkt, I love that name, Blaupunkt stereo, which is like a retro one, Blaupunkt Bremen I think it was. I'm looking at that, see if I can find one of those. Someone else recommended a Sony one, which was a lot more affordable but not quite as good, so watch this space on Stezzers. That's got to be changed though, we can't have that silver one in there, and all the wiring for it's got to be taken out. You guys were telling me someone was having a good chuckle. They're obviously not speakers, but I thought like they were sort of Bluetooth speakers or something you could speak into, and they were connected to the Stezza. I didn't know they were part of the alarm sensors. I should. I've seen cars with those in before, but when you're doing videos, you do stuff very quickly. But that one, sometimes you just got to laugh at yourself because they'd be the world's smallest speakers. What else? Oh, socket. Guys, what is that in there? You're not going to be able to see, are you? Where is it? Down here. You can't see, can you? Oh, let me get a light, because I want to know what this is. Tell me what this is. What is that? Hold on. There. What is that? Looks like some weird electrical charging thing. 3 little things. I hope it's not aftermarket, because it's going to be a pain, but it doesn't look aftermarket. What is it? And I assume that this is it's got an aftermarket alarm and a mobiliser in it, and that's why it's got that little red light and these sensors and stuff like that. And that is actually, I said I didn't like the fact that it'd been screwed into the pillars, but ultimately I want to keep that immobiliser and alarm on the car. It's beneficial, obviously. Without it, you get, there's nothing stopping people just bashing into it and doing what they want. Oh, right. Okay, another interior thing. These cars are fragile. Okay, and I was round a mate's house the other day, and we were talking about the car, and I had the car there, and he was looking, he wanted to go in here, and he went like that, and he turned that way to undo it and snapped this. So I got, I played it cool, no problem, don't worry, it's just a little bit of plastic. And the whole way home I was freaking out. I'm joking, but yeah, he snapped this plug off, so I've put this all the way through it just to hold it back in place. Screw, that would last for ages. But the first fix that I've actually done is you can buy individual parts for everything on BMW. So I've got an OEM replacement screw, and as soon as this video ends, I'm going to be fitting that. Just having a quick look. Yeah, looks like the right part to me, nice and wide. So that's going to go in, and that's going to fix the problem with the toolbox thing. Seriously, I know it sounds silly, but these cars are really fragile, and some people are just heavy-handed. Like even getting in and out of cars, some of my mates will just grab the handles and really crank them and like slam the doors. If you do that to these types of cars, you'll break things. So you really just need to say to people, no, don't touch it, I'll open the door for you. Well, you don't, but if you don't, things are going to break, unfortunately. Right. That's the interior, guys. I'm going to close up the door. Interior. So the interior is not too bad, nothing, no showstoppers there. We're going to take everything out. We're going to fix it all. I will extract, give it a good clean, although the carpet's in great condition, just to get it all nice and fresh in there as well. Okay, mechanicals. Question for you: are there any recalls on this car that I should be checking in on with BMW to get done? You're going to say, phone BMW. I'm asking you. Because there's usually airbag recalls and stuff like that. Let me know if there's recalls that are worth having done, and then I'll phone BMW up. Appreciate that. After that, we've got to check this suspension out. I'm going to take it down to a friend's garage and ask him to do an inspection on the car, just have a look and recommend to me what he sees underneath and what he thinks needs sorting. I'll go through the paperwork again. It's all been serviced recently with coolant and oil, certain things done, so it should be okay, but I need him to check it out. There's so many things on this car that that could need sorted underneath. But I also want him to adjust the suspension, bring the suspension back up. Yes, it needs to come up. The guy, someone in the comments was saying, don't bring the suspension up, leave it as is. No, it's got to come back up. That looks, to me, that looks utterly ridiculous. Especially when the front end is up this high. At least got to get it at the same level on the front and the back, but that's too low. It just looks silly. And you know, it's a great, I like cars looking low, don't get me wrong, but when you can't see the top of the alloy and it's hidden underneath the car, that for my personal requirements is too low. So it's got to come up. Yeah, you know, we're all different on that sort of thing, aren't we? We've all got different opinions, and I know maybe in my 20s, maybe in my 30s, I might have liked it that low, but not now. Okay. There's a slight rattle yesterday. It doesn't happen all the time. It's like a rattling noise, like if a thin bit of metal was vibrating when the car's running, standing idle, but just with the engine running, kind of that sort of noise. But it would then sort of disappear and then come back a little bit. Strange, and it was coming from underneath the front of the car somewhere. Really strange rattling noise. It's stalling, not all the time actually. When it gets warmed up, it seems to be okay. But sometimes you dip the clutch, you stop at a junction, and just stalls, and that's really annoying. Something needs adjusting there. It just idles a little bit low. Coolant sensor is saying there's low coolant when there isn't, so that's probably a sensor problem, isn't it? Tell me where the coolant sensor is. Hook me up with a part number and where the coolant sensor is. Is it in the reservoir on the right hand side, a bit like, well, it's in the bottom of the reservoir on the E46. I've done the coolant sensor on the E46. I'm sure I could do it on this. It'd be lovely to sort that one out myself. And the traction control, the triangle with the explanation and the circle around it, is on. I assume that's traction control, or is it ASC, the stability control system in it? That's on. The anti-lock brakes are not working. It was off when I first got it, and the guy told me that the light was coming on because there's a loose connection to this light here. You can see, I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, that back light doesn't work on the spoiler, but that wouldn't cause the traction control light to come on, would it? I would assume that would be a sensor that's causing that. It's the trifecta symbol in the middle here. That's the one that's coming on. It wasn't on when I bought it, but he told me about it, and now it's on all of the time. I think that's a more likely to be a ABS wheel sensor speed, isn't it? The sensors which monitor the wheels. That's a common problem. Let me know on that. Those are most of the mechanical issues that I know of. Okay, let's go on to paintwork issues. So first up, wing mirrors. These wing mirrors, guys, can you see? Paint is oxidation's got under there. That's some funky material under there, some oxide, or you know, God knows, is it some alloy which has got a white oxide on it? Is it aluminium or magnesium or something? The water's got in, the air's got in, and it's bubbling. So that's got to come off. I could say I could do it myself. I couldn't do a good job. I'd rather pay for someone to put proper paint on there. Look at it on this side though, look. Got right in, it's coming right off there, it's all bubbled up, it's all crusty all over there, all on that one section, so these have got to come off. Are these the original ones for this car as well, guys? Let me know. I don't know much about the E36s. They look BMW, but are they like M3 ones or something put on there? Should they be on there is what I want to know. Let me know if there's any little tricks to that particular job, or is it just given to the body shop? Take them off, give them to the body shop, let them sort it. Okay. Right, some big issues. Not the magazine. Not a big issue, but there's a scab. There's a scab of rust here. Okay. See that? That's paint. That needs to be sorted sooner rather than later. And if you take that bumper off, you'll probably find that rust is deeper than you think. And these arches, they're okay, but I think while I'm doing that, to do that, they're going to probably want to spray that entire panel, and probably spray up to this line here is a good place. Or you could just spray the whole lot, really. They tend to, it's easier for them to do the whole lot almost. But if I'm going to have this whole thing sprayed, then you might as well get that wheel arch sort of, you know, flattened back and treated, because there will be little bits of corrosion in there that will spread. So if you don't do it now is the ideal time to do it, as you understand, if you've got to do that work. There's a tiny spot of corrosion there. Again, if I don't sort that out, you laugh, it's tiny, it's like a millimetre, but it will spread. If you don't catch it now, while it's a tiny, smaller job that will cost you, it's a tricky place to do a blend, isn't it? But that's what I would want, you know. You'd get, it's a sub £100 job, that is, you know, somewhere between 50 and 100 quid. But if you do that now, you're saving yourself grief later on, or other owners grief later on, but it's good for the car. Rear bumper. This car has seen paint. Okay, it's seen paint, and it's not the best paintwork, but it's not the worst. We'll talk about that another time. But for some reason, the clear coat under here is coming away. And if this was tighter, if this bumper was tighter to the bodywork, you wouldn't be able to see it. But all the way around, I can see it. And it's a shame, that is, because the rear bumper paintwork is good other than that. What I should really do is take the bumper off and flatten all that peeled away clear coat off, and maybe re-clear it. I don't know. I think it'd probably be better, and then just get the bumper on a bit tighter. But I think it's better to let the body shop do that and see if they can do it without painting it. But that's bugging me. That needs to be sorted. Okay, there is one other little bit of rust that I've seen that I think I probably, unfortunately, needs attention, and that is on the bonnet, which is a typical place for any car actually at this age. So we pop the bonnet, where is it? There it is. Quite hot, this is. And this is not too bad. Some people will be thinking, what are you going on about? But if I don't sort that out now, that's starting to corrode. You can see it's not really made it very far onto this side, but that needs to be sorted or it's going to spread. So yeah, that needs to be sorted. Make sure I put the bonnet down fully. Is there anything else in here that I need to tell you about? Obviously we've got to get it checked over, get it all checked over, but it looks like a pretty good engine bay. Okay, if you're buying any car, you always want to have a look at the slam panels. So you've got these old slam panels that the radiator mounts into, and everything hangs off the slam panel like the headlights. Always check the bolts, because if a car has a front end, these will be burred. There'd be no other reason to take the slam panel out, really, that I can think of. But this slam panel, those bolts have never been undone. You're looking for signs of like collision. You'd be hard pushed to bend. This hasn't been hit. You know, if this flitch had been hit, you'd know about it. This has not been hit or anything like that. The only thing is that those bolts there don't look standard. They don't look like the right ones to me. So this air thing would have been off at some point. In fact, the radiator was done very recently, so maybe even recently different screws were used. Who knows? Let me know if those are the wrong screws and I will buy the right ones. Okay, let's put that back down. Wouldn't want the bonnet flying open. You laugh. What else? Okay, that's essentially all of the paintwork stuff for now. Okay, exterior issues, guys. driver's headlight misting. So this side headlight here fills up with condensation, quite a lot of it. The other one's bone dry. Let me know, is that a case of, are these sealed headlights that are airtight, you know, pretty much airtight, and if the seal gets busted then the moisture gets in? Or are these open airline, you know, are these open all the time and they breathe? So tell me about how these headlights work. Should I just take this apart, dry it all out with a hairdryer, or put it in the airing cupboard overnight, open so it can breathe, and then try and reseal it? Let me know if that's a common fault, what's going on. You know, I'm assuming you can unclip the lens on these. So if something's gone wrong there, I want to get that sorted. That's quite important. It looks horrible. Bonnet sits too high. I think you can adjust. There's an adjustment screw in there. Tell me. There's like another screw that I think you can adjust, but that's sitting up too high on this side. Should be sitting lower. That side looks okay. So that needs to be sorted. Let me know if that's adjustable. If not, well, no, just let me know. You don't want to know what's going through my brains. Washer jets are just a little bit clogged. One of them's kind of working, one of them's kind of not doing its thing. That bugs me. I'll take them out. I'll try the old poke with a pin, but when you poke with a pin, it's good because you can set the angle, but you sometimes push any minerals or crud that's in the hole further in, and it might work for a second, then block up again. So really, you should put them in descaler overnight. Front plus rear emblems. So this has got the black, I don't know what it is with this black thing. I don't know what it is, like why that's a thing, because the BMW emblem in blue and white, it's the BMW emblem. Why do you want a black and white version of it? I don't know. It's personal, isn't it? But it's got a blue and white emblem on the back, but they're both tatty. So I'm just going to replace them with OEM ones, unless you know of any really good quality aftermarket ones, which are considerably cheaper, because those OEM ones are probably going to be about 40 odd quid, aren't they? Maybe even more. I'll probably go with OEM. Number plates are tatty. Number plates are tatty. You can no longer buy the number plates on eBay without sending off all your documentations. What a faff that is. So it's back down to the local motor factors to get your plates again for probably a lot more than you'll pay on eBay. I'm not into all those bling plates. I just want a classic kind of plate, plain plate that's in good condition. Don't like the really cheap soft acrylic ones. I want something a little bit higher quality, that's a bit sort of more rigid. I'll sort that out. Orange bits. Someone said to me in one of the comments that I either need to make these orange headlights white or make that orange. Well, tell me what it should be originally, because I actually really like the orange there. I don't want to change that. It's got like a retro look to it. Should it have been orange on the corner? I think it should. And should that have been orange as well? If so, I think I'll make that orange, because it looks a bit white and opaque. Let me know. That's really important to me, that one. Are these headlights, are these tailgate lights correct as well? Shouldn't that be orange? Let me know. Are they aftermarket or something? I don't know. They don't look aftermarket. I haven't looked at them that closely. Rear window lower seals. This is a big one. This is a big one. Give me your attention for a second. Right, these rear vent windows, they're just on a little catch you flick and they open up. Not as good as the E36 that are all electronic, but they're problematic as well. I thought this lower seal had been replaced when I first saw it, because it looks a bit different to this one. It looks just, it feels different as well. And it just suddenly ends here, and I can see white tape. Then I can see all this seal inside here that probably goes all the way around. Looks perished to me. So I am assuming, guys, that the seal part, this is the important question, the seal part will come up to here and I'll be fine. I won't have to replace this lower seal. But what I'm going to have to do is, that probably pops off. I'm probably going to have to get this off, that latch thing off, and then it will be connected over here somewhere as well. I'll figure that out. So I'm probably going to have to get this glass out, replace the seals, replace the inner seal, and then possibly replace that. I'd rather not replace that though, because it's all intact, but it might be worth replacing. I bet you that isn't going to be cheap, and there won't be an aftermarket version of it, I doubt. So we're probably going to be looking about 150 quid, aren't we, for 2 seals or side or something. So it'll be about 300 quid's worth of parts there to fix that. That has to be fixed properly. That cannot be bodged. So that's a job that I need. Let me know if you know about that job. Front scuttle is perished like the E40. Like the E40, that's all one piece. It looks like it's 2 pieces. It's not. It's one piece. Can you see? It's just perished. I'm going to have to get a new scuttle. Let me know if there's any. I would get an aftermarket one if it was radically cheaper, because you don't see that scuttle. You really don't, as long as it's decent. But I don't think they're as cheap as I bought. I think it was about 90 quid for the E46, and I coated it and put a new scuttle on. So if it's only about 90 quid, I'll do it. Let me know. Rock Dink Dirk. What's that? What the? Rock Dirk. Rock Dick? What? Rock. Oh, Jesus. I should really write things down properly. Rock. What is that? Rock. Oh, I'm going to have to skip that. Rock Dearth. Oh, Jesus, that's embarrassing. I wrote down a fault to fix and I can't read my own writing. Rocket? Rocco? Oh, you idiot. Is that Dinks? Rock Dinks, maybe. Rock Dinks. Maybe that's rock chips. Don't know. Passenger RQ Dinks. Oh, rear quarter. Ah, roof dinks. That's roof dinks. Rock dinks. There's a dink in the roof, right? Come with me. Right, can you see it? Where is it? There. There, you see it? Of course you can. A little distortion, little dink there. And there's one there. You see it? Probably can, just about. There you go. There. And one. There's another one somewhere there. Okay. There, you can just see at the top of the camera. Rear quarter dinks and roof dinks. What's next? Exhaust. Oh yeah, the rear exhaust is covered in black paint. Should it be covered in black paint? Okay, I'm gonna have to squeeze through it. I don't know if you can see this. Probably can't, can you? It's covered in black paint there. It's like overspraying. The sides are silver, so I think the best thing to do is take the bumper off, blast all that paint off and polish it all back to nice glossy chrome finish or silver finish, whatever it is. So we'll sort that out. It's always worrying when someone does paintwork and they get it over all of that stuff, you know. M badge on the back. The M badge on the back. I've done another video on this. As the legendary song goes, should it stay or should it go? You tell me. I've done another video on those M badges. I think you're going to tell me it needs to go. What else? Rear underplate screws 4+1. Okay. Yeah, wiring bracket. Okay. What's that? Okay. The rest of it's all over here. So let's go to the boot. Spot meter, what's going on with my camera? Okay, this is a long video. Oh! In here, first up, this cabling, the wire, it's covered in duct tape and I think it's got a loose connection. you know, I can't have duct tape. I want the proper shrouding for it, so I'm sure I can buy that somewhere. Let me know on that. And the cable obviously gets to this light at some point. It doesn't work, so that needs to be sorted. This is one thing the owner told me about. There's corrosion all along here, so that needs to be all ground, you know, filed out, sanded out, treated, and all that sort of stuff, and repainted. So I might as well have this whole thing repainted. Actually, maybe not. We'll see about that. But anyway, another thing I noticed under here, all these screws are all corroded, and they're just screws that cost like £1 or something like that. But if you've got a completely rotted out screw like this one here, it's going to spread the rust. So just fix it now. You know, if it's at that age where it needs to be fixed. What else? This thing here, guys, this fuel filler thing. Okay, so it seems like it's okay, but it's a bit flappy. Should it be locked? Should there something come through that hole and lock it so that you can't open it? Because I don't think that happens. See there, it's all flapping. I have to like slap it. I have to kind of slap it to there, and then it won't flap. Is that normal? Should it lock? Let me know. I'll be impressed, but it does look like it has a locking mechanism. It's probably broken. I hope not. So fuel filler. That's everything there. Those engine bay screws at the front I mentioned, and the tool screw is that thing there that I've got on the list twice. So let's take that off the list there. I'm going to fix that right now. Talked about paint, talked about mechanicals, parts. Gear knob, you know, and the 5-speed emblem, stereo, floor mats, front and rear emblems, scuttle, plates, front number plates, screws, you know, the rusty screws. That's the parts list at the moment. I'm sure that parts list is going to get bigger. So hot. That's it, guys. I better wind this video up. Some of you are going to... It's a long video because I'm seeing the numbers 35, and that's not including the intro piece. Please let me know if there's any places where you recommend are really good. Someone said 3M3 BMW or 3C BMW. I bookmarked that. They look like they sold loads of parts. If there's any other places that sell parts for these cars, good parts, not the cheap Chinese factored parts, you know, good quality parts for good prices. What's OEM? What can't you get OEM anymore? Any other common problems on these? What are the things that I should be telling my mechanic to look for? Someone did a great post. I can't remember your name. You did a great post with a whole list of things that I need to look out for. Like, you know, like you're saying it's the diff that's making the noise, not the wheel bearings, and stuff about gearbox mountings and all that. So any common problems underneath, because it does make a lot of funky noises, even though it's not so bad, but there's things I want to check while it's up there and at the mechanics, and I want to get it all nice. You know, we'll spend a bit of money, get the car back how it's going to be. Thanks for watching, guys. Can't wait to show you the car more on the channel. We're not going to detail the car yet. There's no point detailing cars until you sort out the mechanicals and the professional kind of paintwork issues, which is something that's important. So we've got to, I'm not even going to bother really cleaning it. I might just chuck a bucket of water over it. Once all the professional services are done and everything's done, the last thing you do is then worry about the detailing side of it. So it's going to be a long way off before we do that. Same with the Club Sport. It's been cleaned once in like 6 months, maybe twice with a sponge or whatever. The interior's had a good clean out, but the exterior, I washed it once and went over it with a quick clay bar. Didn't even wipe the clay residue off because it's going to be going through so much kind of professional work for ages. Anyway, I've already said that. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Love the car. Subscribe.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone.